left.
The liberation of mutant kind has begun.
Welcome to the future.
Voice is clown.
Not clown, Joker.
Avengers!
Assemble.
Nobody tampers with the equipment except Tony Stark.
Good idea.
United, the Avengers are strong.
Hawkeye, hands off.
Fool! Have you forgotten my invincible magnetic power?
Not this time, Magneto.
My mutant brain senses danger.
Something unseen is slowly spreading its poisons, edging tempers.
Think carefully before you do this.
You filthy criminals.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What up, YouTube? It is Two Fat Guys Pull List. We've got another new live episode, week 156 or episode 156 or issue 156, however you want to read it or say it. We are back. We are live. Last week we took a little bit of a break, and we're back better than ever. And I will say this, I am sorry that we took a break because Transformers last week was fucking epic, and that would have been my pick of the week. I'm just telling you right now, that book was amazing.
It was pretty good. It was pretty good.
It was really good.
It wouldn't have been my pick of the week, but I don't think anyone would have been surprised that issue 5 of Sacrificers would have been
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was really, really good.
Anyway.
No, it's good.
Anyway.
Oh my gosh. It's got a Game of Thrones style going on. Like, there was a character death that I was like, oh my god.
Was it the daughter?
Not expecting that. I wasn't expecting it. I can't answer the question.
Yeah, you can.
It was the daughter.
It was the daughter.
She dead.
She gone dead.
The
anyway,
main bad guy bird got her in a seat and sucked her fun out, man.
Oh my god.
Her happiness, her joy.
Sucked her fun out. Anyway, welcome to issue 156 of Two Fat Guys Pull List. We got a really good show this week. Back heavy Nate reviews, which will be really good. I'm looking forward to that. And we got some conclusions, got some books that have concluded, and we'll, wrap it up, put a nice little bow on it before Christmas. But anyway, let's get to it. First, let's talk about some business. As always, we talk about our show sponsor, which is Collected Comics and Games here in the DFW area. That is me and Nate's LCS here. We visit the one in Fort Worth, but there are 3 convenient locations in the DFW area, one in Fort Worth, one in Keller, and one now in Irving. So if you are in the DFW area, make sure to go check out Collected Comics and Games. They've got an amazing plethora of things to buy. Anything from comics, back issues, board games, card games, toys, models, manga, posters. I mean, you name it. They got everything. So head on over to Collected Comics and Games. It's a great shop to check out, as well as all the other great LCSs here in the DFW area. There's some really cool ones, but definitely go show Collected Comics and Games some love if you get a chance. Go say hi to Ron and Brent and the whole gang over there. As well as we got to talk about our sub goal giveaway, which we are cloning in on 1,000 subscribers. Currently, I think we're at 966 subscribers, so we're getting there, guys. When we hit 1,000 subs, we're giving away not 1 but 2 slabs. One that we've been talking about for a very long time, almost 2 years now. And one that recently got added by Brent and Ron, which is a really cool one too. So the one we're giving away when we hit 1,000, y'all know it. It's this original Sentai Amazing Spider-Man number 4, a 9.8 CBCS grade, the first appearance of Silk. This book is only getting hotter. So when we hit 1,000 subs, we will be giving this away. So make sure that you hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, and give us a like. It'd be much appreciated because we're going to give away that bad boy when we hit 1,000 subs. Mm-hmm. And because Ron and Brent decided to throw in a really cool slab when we hit 1,000, they will be giving away the CBCS 9.2 signed Wolverine number 300 and art by Brian Dunham. Pretty sick Wolverine number 300 with his artwork and signature on there, a 9.2 CBCS grade. Very cool thing. Very cool slab that Ron and Brent will be giving away when we hit 1,000 subs. So make sure to hit that sub button because we do give away slabs. And then once we hit 1,000, We'll work on getting a new slate of slabs together. Maybe I'll throw in that Donny Cates, or maybe I'll throw in that Wind signed by Tinian, just so we can get some new incentive to hit 2,000 subs. But anyway, that is the business. Let's get to the show. First of all, let's hit up chat. John, how are you doing? Joe, what's up?
Oh, Shinobi, thanks for joining us.
How's it going, Shinobi? And let's see, this was a surprising week. A lot of regular titles were really good reads this week. Awesome. My pick of the week is Gang War Daredevil. The art is so good, and glad to see Electric getting some shine.
I didn't get to that this week, but I'm definitely going to read it. I've been enjoying that little event so far.
All right, Ricky. How did I'm glad you got it. Did it get in there safe? I packed it with construction paper. I couldn't find anything else to put in there. Dude. I literally threw in construction paper from my boys. So I'm glad that you got that. All right, my pick of the week was Madness. Shocker, I know.
I know, John. I know. At this point, because the shop hasn't gotten more, they get just enough for the guys that are subscribing to it. I've got to do the trade paper. Because I want it. I really do want it.
Yeah.
Who was it that we were talking to in the shop that enjoyed it so much?
That liked wasn't it
I always feel so bad.
Was it Rick? Who was it?
Rich.
I'm like, Rick.
Yeah, that's who it was.
Sorry, Rick.
So we've got multiple people telling me to read that book. I know I need to.
Yeah. Still need to read Batman Gargoyle of Gotham. Aren't you reading that? Right there, and
I was going to be on the postscript.
Peter's liking Beast World right now, so he's digging that DC event.
I need to dive into that. So all of my event books got put on the wayside for a special project I had this week, but I'll get back on them next.
Special project. Looking forward to that. All right, let's go ahead and just jump into the show. First off, we have Dark X-Men issue number 5, the last issue of this Fall of X title. Really enjoyed it. I mean, did it move the needle? Did it move what we will be doing with the X-Men after Krakoa? Possibly. It definitely feels like Madeline Pryor is going to be set up as a key player within the X-Men. Will she be the antagonist, or will she be more of a protagonist within the X-Men? It remains to be seen. I think she'll be a little bit of both. She's got her own interests, right? But she's definitely cultivating what the X-Men are, which is a safe place for mutants, right? And a haven for mutants. But she just has kind of almost the outcasts, if you will, of the X-Men, or of the mutants. Some are villains, some are not, some are just kind of on their own. And so overall, I liked it. Again, Dark X-Men has been incredibly brutal, which I like. It's been gruesome. Our clone of a clone got her head cut off, actually cut in half and off. It was pretty intense.
Oh, okay.
And they're continuing to push this idea that she's on a road of redemption, but I wouldn't be surprised if within this new realm of X-Men, she may not be. But as I say that, and you're going to hear a lot of this when we talk about X-Men, at least from me, you know, as we shed the Krakoa era and we move into this new realm of X-Men books, and then we have other forms of media across Marvel coming out dealing with the X-Men, I think what we see with some of these more established characters will be the new normal going forward. And this is a tone that I want to set really early when it comes to X-Men books. And I think Madeline Pryor might be one of those characters that might be center stage when it comes to X-Men within the MCU.
Interesting.
Her action figure is one of the featured action figures in the Wave 2 of X-Men 97, which will be coming out next year. So I have a feeling that we'll be dealing with Madeline Pryor a lot, at least within the cartoons, and then maybe potentially in the MCU. I don't know. We really don't know. You know, we've gotten the first glimpse of X-Men when it comes to the MCU with the end of the Marvels and Beast. Spoilers. So we've got some even more identifying pieces within the MCU when it comes to X-Men. Obviously, we got Charles in the Doctor Strange movie, but that dude dead. Like, he gone. Like, dead. But we are starting to get more pieces of the puzzle when it comes to X-Men in the MCU. So I think even though sometimes it frustrates us, we've said this before, but sometimes it doesn't. I think the X-Men comics going forward are going to mirror or parallel what's happening with them in the MCU. So I think we're going to get more Madeline Pryor. I'm going to go ahead and say that now. Yeah. But overall, I thought Dark X-Men was a very enjoyable little series. I think, if I had to rank all the Fall of X titles, it's probably top 5 with the ones that came out. I don't know where I'd rank it in the top 5, but it's definitely top 5. Just on flow, on interest, and tone. I think the tone stayed consistent throughout its entire little 5-mini run. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good time. It definitely has me stoked and intrigued to see where Madeline Pryor and even Havoc will be when X-Men gets rebooted, or whatever they're going to call it, whether it's a reboot or just continuation. Because we did get also a preview to a new X title that's coming out next year, which is it Dead X-Men? I think it's called Dead X-Men.
Yeah, Dead X-Men.
Yeah, Dead X-Men. So the death was only the beginning. Who knows if that's going to be any good, but I'm gonna check it out. I'm just gonna, that's me. I'm sure there'll be other ones that get that get announced, and I'll be like, not doing it. But
yeah.
That one's got me intrigued. But overall, Dark X-Men was great. I thought it was a lot more fun than some of the other, when Iceman came out, we checked it out. I was like, I'm out.
Yeah.
The Groenbeck one, that the Realm of X, was out. So there were other Fall of X titles that I wasn't doing it. So I think it says something that Dark X-Men made it through all of its mini. It was genuinely good.
Nice. 1 to
all
5,
right.
What is it?
Say again?
1 to 5 on Dark X-Men. What do you got?
1 to 5? What do you mean?
Rating it 1 to 5.
1 to 5. I'd give it a solid 3. Maybe 3.5.
Okay.
Because it definitely moved it progressed the character. I think it gave us the let me go back to it while we're sitting here. I feel like it progressed Madeline enough that I actually cared that she was brought into the fold as potentially a good guy after Dark Web. You know how good woman, sorry. Good person.
I mean, she's a clone, so is she even real?
Right. Because when Dark Web ended, we're like, okay, cool. So they just did this whole event, so she'd be a good guy, a good person, whatever. And this kind of pushed that narrative forward, and I think in a good way, rather than just kind of like a dangling plot point that never really got addressed. So overall, I think it progressed the character enough, even though at the end we get this I don't know, she still might be bad. She still might be. She still might. Well, I think there's gonna be. I think she's gonna have her own interests ahead of everything, and I think that's core to the character.
Yeah.
Right, but I don't think it'll be to the point where she's taking over New York again. I think if her interests align with the X-Men, then she's gonna be an ally. If they don't, she's just gonna be, Doom on her island, kind of chilling. I think that's where I see the character going. But I could be wrong with the whole idea of the comics paralleling what's going on in other mediums of X-Men media. So we'll just have to wait and see. So
Got it.
All right. Next up, we have The Immortal Thor, issue number 5. An absolute gorgeous cover from Alex Ross. That's a given. His
Obviously.
Am I pushing 1 or 2 on here? Pushing 2. All right, perfect. A second month in a row.
Yeah.
Where this is pick of the week, and it's not going through my damn it. Oh my god, that's frustrating.
Did you root it?
Well, it played, but it went through my speakers, and I usually don't check because it's been very consistent of late. So why don't you kick it off while I fix it so I can properly tell everybody this is our pick of the week.
So I think one of the things about this book that is so good is that the amount of effort you're willing to put in the book is sort of you keep getting more and more. So if you're willing to actually really look into this book, the first thing, or what makes me kind of say that at the beginning, is all of these quotes from the old Norse books that we keep getting. This particular one is actually Spanish, but the first 4 issues were Norse. This one's really great because it literally sets the tone of the entire book. like literally and symmetrically. Like the whole point is like the cyclical nature of things, and the wheel of time essentially as it moves forward. But then Toranos actually literally wields this
Yeah.
massive giant wheel. Um, and I don't know that little quote at the beginning. Did you look that up? See what that was?
No, I didn't.
So I'm gonna read it to you.
All right.
The wheel of
Read me.
fortune spins. One man is abased by its descent. The other is carried aloft. All too exalted sits the king at the top. Let him beware of his room. Because it's super easy, right, for a king to be on the top of the wheel and be like, yo, I'm on top of the world. But
Right.
eventually that wheel's going to turn and his ass is going to end at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just kind of how time works. And that's where, I think the implications of that were pretty obvious with Tornos, like him getting defeated.
Yeah.
But I also wonder if we're not getting a little bit of a allusion to Thor as well.
Oh, 100%. I think it'll
Which
be
is cool.
I think it'll be a metaphor for probably every character that we deal with within Immortal Thor, but Thor more precisely.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. This issue just had everything. It had, the metaphorical, it had the action, it had the artwork, the dialogue, the flow, the whole thing. I mean, 2 weeks in a row.
The Mjolnir hot potato was so great. Just throwing it each 1-to-1 so they could make power.
But even, I just love how clever Thor is.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, in Avengers, in Jason Aaron's Avengers, it was just brute strength and I love Green Woman, which there's nothing wrong with that, right? Like, there's nothing, that's okay, right? Like, there's nothing wrong with that. That's classic Thor.
Sure.
But it just, there's such an evolution here that Ewing, again, is a master of detail. And sometimes it works really well. And it works. It's working really well here in Immortal Thor.
Mm-hmm.
Where he just gets everything right. The detail, the flow, the consistency, everything is just perfect. And he's done it for 2 weeks in a row now, or 2 months in a row. And I really, really enjoyed, like you said, the hot potato with Mjolnir, but just each character and how they dealt with being Thor, right? And the commentary in that, and the callback to it that Ewing does. And again, in Thor, I think he does a masterful job at that. Whereas there's some other books, which there's one here on the list that we'll talk about later, where I feel like it was kind of his weakness. But right now, Ewing is just, his threads are gold at this moment when it comes to this book. To the point where when he introduces something new, you're excited about it, right? You're not sitting there going like, how should I, like, why should I know this? Or how should I know this? Should I know this? Or is this something new? Everything feels genuine, even if it's a concept that's brand new. And I think that's a really big strength of Ewing, but it's also, I believe, one of his weakest points in his writing too, depending on what you're reading. But when it comes to Immortal Thor, I think he's doing a hell of a job 5 issues in.
Yep. There's also like some pretty big implications of like where we're going in the future, right? So we have the implication of Gaia's involvement with the natural order of things being disturbed. My favorite thing was Jane seeing the danger bubble above his head. We haven't seen that since like 2020 when he was writing those Valkyrie issues with Jason Aaron. For a second there, I forgot that purple didn't mean death, and I thought it meant death, and I was like, oh god, like she literally sees Thor dying, but she obviously clarified it wasn't that. But then I don't know, I think my favorite thing, even with all of these really good moments, the other thing I was gonna say was his mending his relationship with Beta Ray Bill, like finally actually addressing that. I really like though the most of all that what Al Ewing kind of did with this book was say, hey, I want to make sure that everyone understands like my mission statement, like what we're doing here and why we're doing it, and what I personally think, what Al Ewing personally thinks is the purpose of Thor as a book. And the line that I wrote down was Of my greatest power, my greatest strength that took me the longest to learn is knowledge and how to use my powers with compassion, restraint, nobility, and wisdom, but most of all with humility. I don't know. I thought that was a really good line to kind of like, Thor's very much well known for beating the shit out of people and
Right.
even outwitting people at some point. But he was like, "Yo, if you don't do this without humility, what are we even doing it for?"
Exactly.
I like that.
No,
I like
and I think that's Ewing just being like everything that he's trying to convey just coming into one's focal point. And I think this issue really did a good job of just landing that. And I guess you could say this is the end of the first arc, if you will, in his Thor run, which is great. I think I think we're killing it right now. Yeah, it was a great issue. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit this button and hopefully it works this time.
That's the gas. Pick a week.
Gotta have the sound, but anyway, it was great. And it's insane to say that, right? Because like that first issue, I came off going like, "The fuck are we doing here?" And you're like, "Jim, you're crazy. Like, why are you talking mad shit about Thor #1?" I was like, "Because I don't get it." And now we're sitting here 5 issues in, and I'm like,
now I get it.
I'm a loco, like it was good. It was really good.
He's allowed to say that, guys. Don't worry.
Shut up. This Thor issue was great. I loved it. With a cover like that, it better be good enough to be pick of the week from Jaden, of course. The interaction with Bitter Ray Bill hit me in the feels. I read this Moon Knight back to back, so dude. Speaking of Moon Knight, Last Days of Moon Knight, issue number 30, the last issue in McKay's run until we inevitably change the name and continue on with the same team, and it's the same book but just renumbered. But anyway, Moon Knight issue number 30. I thought the artwork was fun. I really did. I really liked the artwork.
It was nice to have him back on the book.
Yeah. What I liked about this issue the most was the consistency from the previous issue, which was the timing. Kind of jumping from moment to moment to moment to moment and still continuing that feel in issue 30. And I'm glad we didn't drop it, because it would have been really easy to do that, and we didn't. So like jumping to Moon Knight situation, to Tigra, to the Midnight Mansion, and so forth. Just kind of going through those repetitions, I thought was really good. Yeah. I think the thing that I really liked about the issue was Mark and his other personalities running the paces, essentially saying, "This is it. This is the last run," and them kind of doing their final goodbyes. Right. I thought that was great. I really enjoyed that interaction and just seeing them kind of give him a pep talk to get this thing done to save the city. Do we believe he's dead?
Yes.
Okay.
So not forever, of course. No one's dead forever. But yeah, I don't think I would be surprised if we didn't get at least a year into the new run before seeing Mark again. I really do think we're gonna push on without him for a while.
So who's the new? I mean, well, here's the question: do we believe that the new Moon Knight, which we get a teaser of him or them on the cover, all black, he's got like these like spear axes. Is he the villain?
The new Moon Knight?
The new Moon Knight, is he a villain?
Oh, interesting.
Because that's the vibe. That's the vibe I get. Is that the crew is going to continue to do the work of Moon Knight, which I really love. The new, obviously the crew, Soldier and 8-Ball and Tigra and Hunter's Moon, and then remind me the name of the girl vampire. Reese. I dig that. I think that's going to be great. I think they're going to be a good team. But I just get a sense that we're going to get a negative version or an evil version of Moon Knight, or someone that's taking up the mantle of Moon Knight, and they're like, who the fuck is this? And they're going to be even grittier than Mark ever was. And it's going to make them question the principles behind this new Moon Knight. That's my prediction.
Okay. So you know what Twitter's prediction is? And of course, I'm talking about the cesspool that is Twitter. Because of the way the final page is set up, Twitter assumes that Reese is going to be the next Moon Knight.
Right.
Now, let me preface this by saying I love it. I think that would be so cool. But of course, I bring it up because Twitter is a piece of shit and always has to like bring up bad things.
Right.
But people went nuts about, oh my gosh, a black gay woman as Moon Knight. There's no way. Like, we're going down the deep end. There's just no way. And I'm like, now I really want it to happen.
Going down like the fact that anyone would ever say going down the deep end on comics, like, grow the fuck up. Like,
yeah,
they're comics. Chill out, dude.
So I don't know. I you know what? When I reviewed this issue and took my notes and made my rating, I wrote down that I needed to pretend like there wasn't a new book. I wanted to give the because I think a lot of times, not necessarily you and I, but people in general don't review books outside of, in a vacuum, which is hard to do. But like, what would we have thought about this book if we didn't know there was a new one? And based on that, I still think this is a really strong book. I think this ended the book well. And you just wanted to say, you know what, I'm not interested in the new Moon Knight, or I'll come back later. I think this was a really nice wrapped bow with present here at the end. Like, there wasn't any big dangling plot lines or anything like that.
No,
and I think,
No, it could end. Like, it literally could end right here, and someone else could pick it up.
And it took me a while, and I think because I read Thor first, I was like, and I had that intense moment where Thor was sort of making his mission statement. I was like, man, what's the overall theme of this book? And I was like, I'm gonna try to really pay attention and make sure I can get it. And it's got to be found family, right? It's got to be all of these misfits of characters that are seemingly on their own or feel too helpless to be involved.
Right.
All end up together and creating this dynamic team that's actually really strong and has done a lot of things for good. So I think when it comes to that, I think McKay absolutely nailed it. Like, 5 out of 5 stars. Amazing. It's gonna suck not having like this version of Moon Knight, even though I know we're getting the same team and I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna miss like this exact roundup of characters.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see where McKay goes with the relaunch and everything. And I really liked his letter at the end, kind of saying like, thank you for trusting us and spending your hard-earned money on a story that kind of just fell in my lap. Like, I think I got this book on a mistake. I like that lack of confidence, but that humbleness in him saying like, hey, thanks for picking up my book. And most writers give us that anyway, but I don't know. I feel like it felt pretty
really
genuine. Yeah, it felt genuine for McKay. All right, next up, we have X-Men Red, issue number 18, the final issue of X-Men. Well, the final issue of X-Men Red from Al Ewing, because we all know that the resurrection of Magneto is literally the same. Oh. It's the same thing, just renamed for like 3 or 4 issues. Yeah, so it is, but it isn't. So getting back to this Al Ewing, working within his own world, and creating, taking the mythos and taking new characters and taking old and new ideas and just kind of just putting them all together in one spot and just being self-contained. In Thor right now, I think it's doing a really good job. I think it's doing a fantastic job. I mean, it's made Pick of the Week 3 times now on this show, whether it's both of us together or you alone. And with X-Men Red, aka Sword, right? I think, and if I go over to Sword too, I think Al Ewing started off incredibly strong with this story that he's been building all the way up to this issue. Starting off in Sword, right? Which also was in Guardians of the Galaxy. So you get this whole like connection, right? You're getting all these connective tissues just coming, together at the end. With X-Men Red, it started off phenomenally. I think it was really strong. We were both like, holy shit, this is the best X-Men book in the current lineup. And this is before the fall, right? We were in the top of the top when it came to the Krakoa storyline when X-Men Red started. Then it got to the middle, and we were both going like, wait, what are we doing, right? And it was because I felt like Ewing, which he does in most of his books, was setting up a world that was self-contained, yet had bits and pieces from other stories from him. And if you didn't if you weren't connected to those things, you weren't going to remember them, and you were thinking, okay, why should I know this person? Or why should I understand this narrative? And the problem that I have with X-Men Red in the middle is that there was that concept, but then there were also these new characters that he was setting up, but he never established them as new.
Yeah.
He just said, you should know who this person is. And it lost me, right? So in the middle of X-Men Red, it started falling. It started sagging a little bit. And that's when you jumped off. You're like, I can't do this. I don't understand what we're trying to tell, who these people are. Should I know them or not? Are they new characters? Are they from something else that he did previously? There was no explanation.
That was the big purge for X-Men for me too. It wasn't just this book. It was
right.
I dropped everything.
But it was kind of the final nail in the coffin for you.
Yeah.
The only consistent thing that has been holding this book together is Storm. Storm has been the unifying factor in X-Men Red, and she's been. Al Ewing needs to write a Immortal Storm book at some point, because he does a great. He knows that voice. He has her voice incredible. He does it so well. So, with all that criticism being said, I will say that X-Men Red is in the top 5 of X-Men books for me. Even though they're as messy as they are, we had the Fisher King guy who, got pretty much taken out quickly in this book, and like there were just a lot of plot points that ended very quickly. And I don't know if that's just Ewing just saying I'm done, or if that's Marvel saying like, hey, wrap this shit up because we got to move on. We got to get out of Krakoa. So putting that aside, I think he did a great job here ending it. Apocalypse and Storm clearly are going to be the movers and shakers of Mars, if Mars is still going to exist within the X-Men books after Krakoa, which I think it will. The Genesis coming to Mars and trying to claim it felt incredibly rushed. And it ended very quickly, but it ended in a badass way. Storm did what she does, and she tactically takes out Genesis and the Wrath, or whatever it was, the mask that was taking her over, that ran Ten of Swords. It ends up trying to actually seduce Storm into taking over, like holding the staff. Like she ends up trying to seduce her with power, and Aurora's like, "No, fuck you," which was really cool. So at the end of the book, we established the mutants are still on Mars. Apocalypse and Storm are basically the Brotherhood, or whatever you want to call them. They're there. And Genesis is exiled to a one of the meteor moons around Mars, and so she has 2 of her 4 horsemen children, and it would appear they're either going after, they're going to be like the secret weapon to go against Orcus whenever this goes down, the Fall of X, or they're going to be the thing that takes out Mars again. They're going to go after the Brotherhood. I was actually kind of confused at the end, so I'll have to go watch Comic Book Herald's review of the book and see if I, because there's clearly, that's the other problem, is like sometimes I have to go watch somebody else's video to make what I read, I understand what I read, which is kind of frustrating, because I
very frustrating.
I do like Al Ewing's writing. I think he does a great job, but there's instances like this where it's almost too much. Like the other plot point, like Nova got fucking riddled with a plague arrow, and he's surviving via the Nova Force, but we don't get any clarification after that. Like he was lying dead in camp. Like there's just a lot of plot points that were not answered, and I'm sure later on down the road they'll pop up and they'll be a little, oh, remember this in X-Men? No, because I didn't read it. Like, that kind of thing is going to happen. And they'll pull a DC. So, but the strongest thing was Storm. Storm was just the consistent in this book, which was great. But overall, it felt rushed, and I just don't think that's Ewing. I think that's Marvel saying, hey, we got to get out of Krakoa, so this book's got to end. That's how it felt. Now, I'm sure he could go on Twitter and be like, no, this is how I always imagined it. So we'll have to wait and see whenever that note comes out. So All right, before we jump over to DC, we're going to do our halftime question from Joe. First part, it's that time of year where we pick our favorite books of the year. This week, we will focus on Marvel. Each category, pick your top 3 choices. Read part 2 for the categories. Part 2. 1, what's your favorite ongoing comic? And 2, what's your favorite miniseries? 3, unexpected risk hit. Biggest disappointment of the year. Breakout character of the year. Also, what's your thoughts overall of Marvel this year? Damn, son. Wow.
This could be a whole video.
This could be a whole video. I almost kind of want... I know we were kind of planning on doing a year-end. So I almost wonder if we shouldn't answer this question. I love the effort, Joe. And I really want to answer it, but we've been planning a video.
We can. This is for Marvel only. This isn't for all comics.
Okay. Marvel.
So,
only.
and right. I since while you were doing that, you take a second to think about it or look, because I actually pulled up all the Marvel comics I've read that came out in 2023.
All right.
So I'll throw down my list. All right. So
hard.
first ongoing. So I did a my own rule, which means it has to have at least 5 issues that came out this year. That's an ongoing. Wow. There are certain ones that don't apply. So my top 3 shouldn't be very surprising based off of this today. Thor, we have 5 issues of that. So Thor, Moon Knight, and then I think it's a tie, but I'm going to go ahead and go with Incredible Hulk as the third one. As the third ongoing. We have had 6 issues, so we've had at least half of the year of that. So I'll go with that.
Okay. Can I go next?
Yeah. Oh yeah, you go. If you know.
So top 3, I will agree with you. Thor and Moon Knight, and then this is no surprise.
No.
She-Hulk.
It can't be.
Why?
Because
She-Hulk.
She-Hulk.
Going.
It can't be though, because it didn't. Well, I guess you don't have to use my rules.
I don't have to use your rules, but also we know that Sensational She-Hulk is just a continuation of She-Hulk.
Even if that's so, only 4 issues, even from both combined, only 4 issues came out this year. We had almost no She-Hulk this year.
Really? I don't like your rules. issues. Well,
you know what? Maybe I did this
no,
wrong.
I think it.
Yeah, you're right. No. I forgot about these.
Yeah.
Forgot about these. So there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, yeah, no, there's 7.
Yeah, She-Hulk. It's no brainer, She-Hulk. So there's that. All right, next up.
So then after that, why is this? Okay, my entire list just.
2, what's your favorite mini-series? That's easy for me.
What? Do you have more than one?
Do I have more than one?
Listen, the favorite miniseries is there's only one correct answer. There's actually no opinions here. There's one correct answer, and it's Marvel Unleashed. Like that's not.
Well, okay, right, cool.
For debate.
Right.
That's not up for debate. But I will also. But he says 3. He says 3. So I want to give. I had at least one other one that I really enjoyed, and I'm trying.
No, he doesn't say 3. The third. No, he says, "What's your favorite miniseries?" Third, unexpected risk hit. That's
the first part of the question says, "From each category, pick your top 3 choices."
Homework.
What was the other one that I really wanted to include on here? Oh, one that we probably would have totally slipped our mind. Star Wars Darth Vader, black, white, and red.
Oh yeah,
that was really good. That was really good.
I'll agree with that.
I honestly don't know if there's a third miniseries Marvel that I think deserves.
I'm looking. I'm trying to see.
There's not. They're not for me.
There's not.
Oh, John. Of course, I missed it. Hellcat. Hellcat's the third one.
Oh fuck yeah! Oh my god.
I forgot Hellcat was this year. For
Hellcat
some reason
was amazing.
Was not here, but yeah, Hellcat. So there you go.
Okay.
Marvel Unleashed, Hellcat, and Star Wars Darth Vader, Black Widow.
All right, unexpected risk hit.
You know, honestly, for me, it was Deadpool. I'm not a Deadpool dude. Yeah. I don't read a lot of Deadpool. I only went in because of the creative team. Yeah. So I guess it wasn't too much of a risk. But I will say it was something I went in. I didn't commit to the pool until 3 issues in or 4 issues in. Every issue I was still like, I don't know. Not because they weren't so good, but because I'm just not a Deadpool guy. So that was probably the biggest one. I honestly don't think I took too many risks with Marvel this year, and I think that probably answers part of your last question. Is I don't know that Marvel is worth the risk right now.
Well, so I think for
I'm
mine
not
it would be
seeing any others.
Miss Marvel, the New Mutant Miss Marvel,
Okay.
Scarlet Witch,
Okay, I was gonna say Scarlet Witch.
and what was the other one? There was one other one that I was like, oh yeah. Risk for Marvel. God damn it, what was it? Oh, Dark X-Men. Because literally, like, I just had I didn't know what to expect. I was giving it a shot, and it made it through. Some of them didn't, so I'd say Dark X-Men.
Okay. What about your biggest disappointment of the year?
Iceman, Realm of X. There's another one that I was like, I was on, and then it just Spider-Man. Like, and not to gang, because everyone's loving Gang Wars. I'm not trying to say Gang War. I'm just saying, you know, you were like, get on Spider-Man, and I got on it, and it was fun. And then Dark Web came out, and both of us were like, what are we doing? Even though we got Rick Rapp, like, we love that character. Overall, I feel like Spider-Man, again, it just they do it every time. It's like, hey, we're starting Spider-Man. Fuck yeah, let's go. And then it just doesn't feel like it delivers. And maybe it's because Spider-Man is just so grandiose. You know, it's just such the concept of Spider-Man, everyone's just got this other idea of Spider-Man and him in the concept of it being just badass, right? And so our expectations are just so high. And then we have to remember that this book comes out twice a month, sometimes more when they put these 0.5 issues coming out, right? And I think Spider-Man, now we're just going into this whole other debate. I just feel like Spider-Man deserves better. And if that means making him come out, making his main title come out once a month, do it, right? They're doing it with Batman, even though there are like 15 fucking titles of Batman. The main title of Batman only comes out once a month, right? But then you get Detective Comics, then you get Batman and Robin, then you get Gargoyle Batman, then you get World's Finest, and you know, like, you just get all these different stories where Batman's involved. I think Spider-Man can do the same fucking thing, where you can have.
Well, we are. You got spine-tingling Spider-Man. You got Spider-Boy.
Right. So
there's regular Spider-Man. You got Superior Spider-Man.
Sure. There's no reason for Spider-Man to come out twice a month. There just isn't. Like, take your time and write a better story. And that's not. I'm not trying to take a stab at the current writer. Not in the slightest. Like.
Well, I think I would actually say that I think that's the most disappointing part of it, is that I expected more from Zeb Wells. But I enjoy his work so much.
I just think Zeb
What's up, Patty?
is not given enough time to flush out a decent story.
Okay. I agree.
There you go.
So my 3 will be, of course, Spider-Man, but we just hit that. One that you forgot that I know you'll agree with is Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh my god.
And then
So
my
bad.
third one will be the entire X Office. I'm going to go ahead and give them an F for the entire.
I wouldn't give the entire office.
I give the entire office.
Gary Jerry has been doing a great job.
Gary should have been able to somehow write 2 ongoings, multiple minis, and improve everyone else's. Okay.
So unfair.
Gary Jerry Dugan Duggan can be exempt from the Fs, but everyone else, it's not any one person. That's why I said the office.
Yeah,
like
I know.
the actual
office, yeah.
office. And then what? All right, what did we miss? This is too negative.
Yeah, we're never this negative. That's for sure.
See, breakout character of the year. I just don't know that I have.
Miss Marvel, She-Hulk.
I guess She-Hulk.
Oh no, breakout character. Yes, She-Hulk. Breakout character, Jack of Hearts. Jack of fucking Hearts.
There you go.
He wins it all, man. Dude's a beast.
Okay, Joe. So the reason why Fantastic Four isn't is I've been slowly catching up, and I've been enjoying what I'm reading so far. John, we will talk about that. Guardians of the Galaxy just had its best issue of the series yet. it did, and it's very disappointing that this one was, because it was also still so bad. It was good, but there were so many like junior high mistakes that it really okay. Well, we can talk about it later. I would actually say that I don't want to go too far into like Marvel DC or anything else, because we've been sidetracked for like 20 minutes. But the last question was, how do we feel about Marvel overall this year? And I would say that if you're a new comic reader that's getting into new comics and you want to know Marvel or DC, you're just going to pick up random titles. I would say Marvel hits higher at the highest notes, but Marvel also has significantly more bottom of the barrel misses. And so if you're taking a risk and you're trying to choose one, I would actually go for DC.
I would agree with that.
I would say the misses in Marvel have been so extravagantly terrible.
I would agree with that assessment. And the reason, and this is, I'll go off of what got us in here. When we started reading Marvel, right? When we started this podcast and we started reading comics again, or whatever you want to call it, when we first started, both of us were blown away by the back catalog and current status of Marvel writing, right? Donny Cates was on fire. Al Ewing was doing Immortal Hulk. Jason Aaron's Avengers run was fucking fire. Everything was firing, and Peach Momoko was coming in. We were just like, oh, like we couldn't get enough. And now it's like what it feels like is there's just a massive question mark on Marvel Comics at the moment. And I don't know why. I don't know what that is. Like why we're not taking bigger risks, or why we're not letting creators just really go ham on certain things. And I think it's because we've got so many different projects and different eras that are getting ready to end. And we're in this like moment of stasis where you're just kind of floating. And we don't quite know what direction we're going to go in. Hey, let's give Jonathan Hickman let's bring back the Ultimates. Ugh. You know, like kind of they did that, you know. Hey, let's let Jonathan Hickman do Gods and let him just do his own fucking thing, you know, his version essentially of the Eternals, right? But he's just doing it with magic. And you're like, okay, and we don't really know what we're gonna do, but we're all hoping for massive fireworks. But there's a 50-50 shot that it doesn't do that. But we don't know. We're waiting. So there's that. You got the end of Krakoa, so we really can't establish really cool and fun, new, exciting things with the X-Men, because we got to wind down this massive thing that.
Well, yeah, you got to ruin this good thing that you should have been keeping for years on it.
Right. So that's got to go. You know, you've lost one of the most pivotal writers within your office because of a car accident, and you got to give this guy time to let him get back into the kitchen and cook, right? Like, and and you said it before when he did his little Twitter AMA, like you were like, holy shit, I'm getting excited again. I'm actually feeling pretty good about Donny Cates coming back into the fold and really doing some Donny Cates shit. And I think that's what's, if I'm being absolutely honest, I know it's a lot of pressure to put on one writer, but I really do believe that Marvel is missing Donny Cates. I mean, we jumped in and he was writing Thor. He was in the middle of Venom, and Venom, like, we were both like, I ain't fucking reading Venom. And then we read it and we're like, oh my God, Venom is good. Thor, fucking amazing. You know, like, we're just missing that edginess. And when I say edginess, I'm not saying like, you know, like you're saying, Moon Knight's going to be a gay black vampire. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm saying there's just the excitement behind the new ideas behind Marvel. It's just not there right now. We're jumping back to old project. You know, let's bring back the Ultimates. Let's go back to the Spider-Verse. Let's do this, and that. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I do not get that same sense of excitement that we got when we first started. When you're like, hey, remember X-Men? Yeah, Jonathan Hickman's doing some fucking wicked shit over there. Hey, you know Beta Ray Bill? Yeah, there's this guy named Daniel Warren Johnson writing a space opera with Beta Ray Bill. Oh shit, yeah, I'm gonna check that out. Hey, Venom, who's usually just an anti-hero, guy's becoming a literal god. Oh, and Silver Surfer, he's black now and he can lift Mjolnir. What? Like, you know what I mean? Like, just crazy shit like that. Oh, remember, there's this new Cosmic Ghost. There was just a flood of new ideas and concepts that were just refreshing. And it feels like we're waiting for all of those ideas to kind of wind down and die so we can restart. And I don't know if that's, like we're saying, just a multiple different concepts that need to kind of wind down and go away, or if it's, hey, we're getting ready to move some really big pillars, fundamental pillars within the MCU, and we need our comics to align with what we're about to do. I think it's a mixture of both. And I hate that I just said all that. Like, I don't want to say that because I love Marvel.
Yeah, I mean, I think it, if you read that without context of how we talk about our Marvel books, then it sounds like we hate Marvel, but
we don't.
We probably buy more Marvel books than any.
I think it's the driving force of the show.
Our pick of the week for Marvel.
Yeah,
I mean, it was definitely at the start. All right, let's talk about not Marvel. Let's talk about DC. And
well, hold on, we got to get back to these. Let's get to chat really quick. Surprise, Nate, you didn't pick. I always say that Marvel's will have the biggest bang, but the biggest losses. And I think they try to swing hard each time, as DC colors by number with their characters. Yeah, it's almost nauseating. Marvel seems to be a little off target with their comics and movies right now. I'm still interested. It'll bounce back. It always does. I say Marvel needs to cut back a few titles, focus on continuity, storytelling throughout the universe. I do miss Donnie as well, John. I say if Marvel's doing that with Moon Knight, that they would already leaked it, that so people will start talking about it. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm looking forward to it, and seeing that cover of the new Moon Knight series has got me super excited because he just looks wicked. He just looks. I mean, it almost had a Spawn feel to it. All right, let's jump over to DC. We're gonna kick it off with Batman and Robin, issue number 4 from Williamson. Caged like animals. This is basically the end of the first arc, with Shush and all the other ragtag.
The Shush and the bunny and the
fox and the crocodile and the shark and the man bat and the whole thing.
The man bat, yeah.
It was incredibly distracting, even though I think it was used in a time shift, but it was still distracting with the artwork change. I don't like it. I just don't. And it didn't even though the different artist was used to convey a shift in time, it still bothered me. I don't like it. Stay consistent. Putting that aside, this issue got me hyped for issue 5, like you were saying. Williamson it looks like Williamson is going in the direction of slice of life, Damian at school, Bruce being a father. I'm about it. And like I think I even said it in issue 1, but I was like, whoever this new villain is Damian's teacher or principal. Like I think I even said that. So to kind of see that coming, hinting at that in issue 5 here with Damian basically knowing that that's the case, I really dig that. If I have one criticism, it felt a tad rushed, just a tad, like the conclusion of what we were doing here. But if I put that aside, I liked the issue. I thought I'm still on it. It didn't drive me away from not picking it up.
Yeah, I gave this like a 3. I was just like,
yeah, middle of the road.
It moved the needle a little bit. The art was good, but like, I don't know. I'm not super like invested in what's going on. I'm not like
yet. Yeah,
not yet. But again, I've been trying to do better about reviewing an individual issue without the context of everything else. Because if I didn't know about Flatline coming up, I would probably be borderline dropping this book. Yeah. Because of just like, I have such a big pull list right now. This is not adding enough value to it.
Yeah.
It's fun. I love Demio's artwork. That's probably why I'm still here. But this story isn't getting me enough. But the way this issue ended intrigued me enough. And then 2 days later, I read the news that Flatline was coming back in issue 7. And I really like what Williamson did, because it was Williamson that wrote Robin and Flatline together. I was like, all right, I will tag along until Flatline's back, and let's see how it goes from there. But yeah, it's one of those books that's like, I don't know. Maybe if I read it in a collection in a year or two from that, I would enjoy it, but it's just not adding too much value to me.
Well, and I think one of the things that we said. Ooh. Okay. Now I'm excited. So the artist that's jumping on the next arc or the next run is the artist that did the Azrael book that I loved, The Sword of Azrael. And that artwork was fucking amazing.
Okay.
So that's got me stoked. That's got me really stoked. But back to Williamson. We've both said it. When he does broad DC ranging events, we ain't about it. It's just, there's too much. But when he focuses in on specific characters and hones in on their one story and just runs that down a line, he's really good at it. So like you said, him bringing in Flatline again with Damien, love it. If he brings in the manga aspect, which if we've got this artist, I think we will, where Damien's, sitting in the cafeteria reading manga and Flatline's like, "What up, kid?" Like, that's gonna be dope. Just the fact that I just looked at the artist and know who it is, I'm actually very excited for issue number 5. That's got me stoked.
Nice. And it does look like DeMille will be back on the book when Flatline joins on issue 7.
Okay, cool.
For how long I don't know, but
at least
that's as far as we're solicited.
But either way, I agree with your assessment. Give it a solid 3, middle of the road. See how it goes.
Yep.
All right, go ahead. The floor is yours.
Listen, we've already been burning your ears for an hour, and we're only like 5 books in. But you guys are gonna have to give me just a second. So I did it. I decided there's too many people that I respect that are talking about how much they enjoy this Detective Comics run by Ron. And I've been really loving this particular arc. Of course, it was, and I've said this 1,000 times, but it was marketed completely insanely as like a Western themed art, which makes no sense. It's literally not what it is. It's literally like a classic Batman caper, which is great. It's been so good.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still confused at things, and I was like, why do I not? What's going on? Why do I not remember this being as good as people are saying? And of course, there's a lot of people talking shit about it. But why is it not as good as the people I respect that are saying it is? And why am I so confused? What happened?
Mm-hmm.
So I sat down on Friday and Saturday, and I read all 18 issues.
Jesus.
Every single one that Ron V has including the 17th century Batman or Detective Comics annual that was like the fake Batman from the past. I read all of them. And I have got to say, holy shit, did we miss this? We messed up so terribly bad. This run is amazing. And now, of course, I think part of it is getting to sit down and read this consecutively. And I do think that's a genuine large critique of this run, is that this isn't a graphic novel. This is a serialized story, and you should be able to tell your strong story in a serialized fashion for me to be able to follow along month to month. And I think that's part of the problem is because it was month to month, and I think you'll agree with this. By the time you saw Detective Comics, you were like, God damn, I got a job to do. Like it's a chore. Like it's a big beefy book. There's gonna be a lot of words, and I'm just gonna have to like chunk through it. And I think that's where we messed up, because that's certainly what I did. Every time I got to this book, I was like, okay, I've got 22 pages of Rom V, and then I've got 8 pages of backup, and I've got 50 new characters. All their names are the same. One's name's Arzin, one's the same. And I can totally see how people got overwhelmed. I can see how we got overwhelmed and confused. But when you actually sit down and give this book the space that it deserves, instead of doing what I did, again, I'm only talking about, well, and I know James did this too, but still. When we're sitting down in the book with a pile of books that we want to make sure that we read for you guys, and so that we can actually talk about them, sometimes you don't have the time to just sit here and give this book 20 minutes to read. And that's what Ron V has asked you to do. He's asked you to set aside 20 25-30 minutes to read his comic. He wants, you need to, you absolutely have to get the concepts.
It's a necessity.
But when you do, it is crazy how much it's worth it. I genuinely think I'm going to go and I don't know if it'll be number one, but it's definitely my top 3 of all ongoing series right now across all publishers. And it's like, I feel very firm about that. I actually, as I was reading all 18 issues, I reviewed every single one of them on League of Comic Geeks. So if you're a super nerd and you want to know like what, how I felt about everything, all 18 issues, including this one, is got, my analysis on there. But, and I even forgot the things I liked. The Cy Spurrier backups with Danny doing the art about that weird Sorrow kid with the eagle on his back that James Gordon finds. That shit was amazing. The Mr. Freeze mini, amazing. The Azrael one that Dan Waters did, the guy that you like so much. The Dan Waters and the team that did Homesick Pilots, they do an entire line of backups, and they're amazing. Like, anyway, I'm gonna stop. But if you're like me, if you're like us, and we were just kind of like, what's going on? We're gonna jump off. We don't like it. We were wrong. We were very wrong, and this book deserves a lot more than I think what we have given it. Anyway, this particular issue 1079, is sort of the climax of our caper here. So we have everybody that is doing their various jobs trying to save Batman. We've got Batman literally hanging from his noose right now. He's not about to, they're not about to slap him, he's not like about to fall. He is currently hanging. And you've got Catwoman, who has a knife to the son. Again, I've just read 18 issues. I'm sorry. Orgum, what's his first name? Doesn't matter. She's holding the knife to his throat, saying that she's gonna kill him. His mom's like, "Yo, I don't give a shit. Kill him. Like, Batman's gonna die. That's what's happening." Meanwhile, you've got Cheshire Cat and Solomon Grundy, like saving all of these homeless people that are in the ground, underground, that have been, they're trying to turn them into the monsters. You've got Batgirl, like kicking ass, like taking out all the like ninjas and the hidden people around the surrounding areas. You've got Azrael cutting tanker trucks in half to make them explode and kill all of the Orgum personnel around. Like, it's epic. Like, this is not like a big picture issue. This isn't like big concepts and big ideals and all that. This is like, all right, this is the fun beat 'em up sort of action packed issue that gets everything together. And we finally realize that, like, what has happened is it seems like Batman's literally hanging, but like, of course, Catwoman did a whole behind the scenes thing that you're like, oh, actually, I snuck into this thing and I gave him this little poison that slowed his heart rate down, so they thought he was dead, but he wasn't really dead, and so we're taking his dead body, and then they steal his dead body. So now they're about to go run away with Batman, so they can actually heal him and correctly save him. So yeah, at the end, they have succeeded. They've gotten Batman. Even all the bad guys. This is one theme. This is one really big theme that I didn't get the first time when I was reading the whole series. Is all of Gotham, from the nastiest, dredgy corners to the highest places, are coming together to save Batman. Orgum is here to literally try to defeat the city, and the city is saying, "Fuck you, you want Batman." Look, James Gordon saved him from drowning in the water. Two-Face saved him from getting eaten by the wolf while he was the bad guy, like while he was bad Two-Face, not while he was Harvey Dent.
Right.
Mr. Freeze saves him again from the wolf guy. Our entire team is made up of like Solomon Grundy, Mr. Like all of these people that are just bad guys. Like they want Batman to be dead, and that theme is really apparent in this issue. I don't know. I think this arc too, like it's been fun and it's had some of its highbrow moments where it's like, hey, I've got an overall picture I'm trying to tell you.
Right.
But 99% of this arc, and especially this issue, is ironically what everyone on Twitter is complaining about for Detective Comics. It's just good Batman fun. It's detective work, and it's mysteries, and it's the Bat family kicking ass. And if they could just quit complaining that they don't have their white Jesus Batman for a second, that they would realize that we actually have a really good story. So if you've been like us and you've been confused or not wanting to do it, it is very worth all that goddamn money that I spent on these books. And yeah, I felt like I've already paid for these. I better get some of that.
No, fuck yeah, you better.
That's it. Was worth.
All right, nice. I like it. All right, let's jump over to Green Lantern issue number 6 from Adams. Secret revealed. Fuck yeah, there's a big old secret. Thick, bony issue. The thickness of this issue, the meat of this issue is Hal and Sinestro going at it, with Sinestro just literally rage vomiting red light and just running amok on Earth, and Hal trying to figure out what the hell is going on and trying to save Sinestro really from himself and save the world. That's the bulk of this issue, and I thought that was really cool. I think Sinestro with the red ring did not disappoint. I think he, if anything, if there was anything, he could have gone even harder. You know what I mean? Just could have gone even crazier.
You like it when people go harder.
Anyway, but the big reveal at the end of this book is that Hal has been having a discussion with Kilowog, and he's dead. Spoilers.
Bro is dead.
Bro is dead, and he is constructing him. He is having a conversation with a construct that he has created in Kilowog. And then what was the other one? That the rings are being powered without the actual energy of the battery.
Yeah, that's my biggest gripe, is that this whole mystery of how they're using their powers, it's happening in the John Stewart book too. Like a little bit, it kind of like started out as his bit from the previous run, and it kind of made sense. Except then we had Infinite Frontier, and the continuity got a little fuzzy on whether that was true or not. Because
the continuity got a little fuzzy is the quintessential catchphrase of DC. So let's
yes. But now, I absolutely will not allow this. Like, we've got powers, but there's no ring, and we don't know how it is, but we're just gonna do it. And it doesn't. I don't know. I'm very over it. I'm over it to the point where, like, I gave this book a worse score than what most people would, because I think it is a very, very weak plotline. I don't know. I think I got to go back to the 3. You convinced me to go 3.5.
Shut up! No, it's cool. The Kilowog, the hook at the end is what's got you going, like, because you didn't see it coming. None of us saw it coming.
Also, who's
no
Razor?
one saw it coming. I don't know. No, that's not the question. That's not what I'm dealing with. I could give to, because when he came up and showed up and started talking, I was like, I don't know who you are. I don't know. But when he was like, who the fuck are you talking to? And then Kilowog's like, want another beer? And then just dusts away. You're like, wait, what? You know what I mean? Like, and that's Hal's guy. You know, that's his bro. And so I think that's huge. I think that's massive, especially because you like Kilowog.
You gotta tell us who Razor is. He's not even from an TV show. This is his first appearance in comics.
Okay, well, look, you gotta freaking
tell us who it is. Also,
care of it.
Who's this?
No, the art change was weird.
Who is this?
Yeah, I know.
This is an 18-year-old boy. This isn't how. Who is this?
Yeah, the art change was very weird, and that's DC just fucking up royally.
Again, like.
Yeah, I know. That's unexcusable.
Like, this is an 18-year-old anime kid from Cowboy Bebop. This is not.
What's wrong with Cowboy Bebop?
There's nothing wrong with it. That's not what I'm saying.
Why do you shit on Cowboy Bebop?
This isn't the grizzled Air Force veteran.
No, I agree.
This is a child.
I know.
It's very awkward and very
No,
weird.
It is very weird, but I don't put that against the writer. I put that on DC. Going,
No, I put I put the terrible introduction to a character and the do ex machina of it all. It just trust me, there's weird things happening. Like, just fucking.
But I think the
Kilowog
coin drop or shoe drop is really kick ass. I think that again, my genuine reaction was, oh shit. And that's a high praise bar. I mean, that's an uptick in review, in my opinion. If you make me say that, and it's for a good thing, I think that's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was fine, but I do agree. Like
fine.
There were aspects to the book that could have been done better. I agree.
I will say that I feel vindicated for skipping the backups in this one because they looked like they were stories for 5-year-olds, which is okay, but I just was not interested in a story for a 5-year-old currently. And I'm very glad because it turns out this is a launch into a villainous Super Sons. Now, I'm sure there are people in chat that are like, wait, what? Oh, yeah, hell yeah. Peter Tomasi is writing like a villains version of the Super Sons. It's some Superman bad guy. Zod, I think it's his son, and Sinestro's son. And they team up together. And I'm like, boy, do I not care about that at all. I'm really glad that I didn't read it,
this is
but really
why...
frustrated that I paid $3 over 3 issues for that content that I didn't want.
This is why I am incredibly frustrated with DC putting these fucking backups into my... This is a case in point. Even though there are instances, like you're saying, that where the backups are fucking phenomenal, and that's fine. I don't fucking care. Stop putting it in my book. Stop making me pay an extra $1 or whatever the fuck it is to read something that I'm not gonna fucking read. I just... Stop it. Like, I don't... Oh, you're getting more value. No, I'm not, because I'm not gonna fucking read it. And like you're saying, like, I took a first glance at this and was like, what the fuck is this? Like, it's not...
Well, I'll be straight up, and I think that I only half agree with you. I think it should be there 100%, because the whole point of the backups are to give new creators the opportunity to showcase their talents in a limited page number, and or to carry on more of the story that couldn't fit on in the main thing. The backups that were in Shadow of the Bat, the ongoing Detective Comics that was a weekly release, 1,000 times better than the actual main story.
Then
the
here's
backups in the first 9 issues of this run of Detective Comics, just as good. And I should not have paid $1 more each issue for those. If you're gonna put them there, that's fine. You're already charging way too much for these things. There's no reason for us to be getting nickeled and dimed over 8 pages. It's ludicrous.
If you want to do that, right? If you want to put those stories in there, I'm not saying, like, what you're saying is valid, and you're giving other artists and writers opportunities. If you're gonna do that, put them in the premium hardcover versions that you want us to buy for $5.99, and then give us a standard $3.99 with just the story that we want to read in the regular version, cover A. Okay? Just do that. Because there will be people that are like, well, fuck, I gotta read that story, so I'm gonna go buy cover B that's got a shiny, nice, glossy cover that's almost like a semi-hardcover. Do that, please, because
there's plenty
it's
of options.
Huh?
I'm saying you're right. There's plenty of options to fix this problem.
It's stupid. It's so stupid. Like, I just don't... It's a waste. It's a waste of paper. And it's a hit or miss, too.
Well, see, that's where I'm not... I understand that's what you're saying. I don't agree with that at all. I don't think it's a... We've had so many backups that are... but I just don't think I should have to pay.
And then what they do is like, oh, there were all these backups, but then we're going to re-release it all combined together for one convenient read. Just fucking do that. Just do that.
Well, that's then people would just say that's what you should do with all comics.
Thank you, John. Thank you for being in my corner, because my best friend and host of the show is not.
I'm not in your corner. I'm just...
No, he's not in my corner. He fucking hates me. Anyway.
I'm halfway in the corner.
All right. The rest of the show is Nate's. Here we go.
It's gonna be quite short. It's gonna be quite short.
Wait. I gotta wait. Hold on.
No, don't.
Hold on. Wait. Don't do it.
No,
But
don't do it.
It's I like it. Hold on,
It's
let me
still
go here.
not my show. Yeah, you like it because you can itch your butt while I do the show.
It's your butt.
Yeah. All right. I am literally just going to read you what I wrote on my
Okay.
elaborate. I
Do it.
said I don't think I can honestly give this issue or the arc as a whole. It feels like I must have clearly misunderstood or forgotten something along the way. What the hell is happening in this issue? This is the most brutal issue yet. Why? I actually have no idea. Who is this lady in the very end? Why does she hate Bait so much? Clearly, I have sustained a brain injury since this arc has started. And I actually am being pretty nice about it all. I finished this and was very upset because this is the second time now that we have done this, where this team has decided to go a little experimental, and it is bottom out flopped, really bad bottom out flopped. And I would say so far that this issue borderlines on offensive. You're always playing with a thin line into something is killing first, right? Because we're literally talking about killing children. That's a very, very sensitive thing to be doing. Now, Tinian does it flawlessly in the main book. And I think Taint Bromball has done a pretty good job of it as well during his arcs of this. I would even say that Johns did not mess that up in any sort of way in her first arc. But in this arc, the insensitivity of it all, I think, is too much. The white masks decide that for some reason the whole house of children needs to be purged. And we see a gun pointed and shot at the heads of multiple children. And at one point, the rifle ripped off the back of a child and shoved in his mouth before the trigger is pulled. And I was like, I'm all about extreme. I don't get my feelings hurt easy. I think if you're trying to tell a story, and what part of what we're trying to tell here is a really intense, visceral story, that strong, exaggerated images are trying to propel the horror of what we're telling, and this was still too far. I mean, I'm not even gonna, usually I like to show you the scary stuff and the stuff, but like, I'm not even gonna put the panel on the page because it is truly awful. And so if Johns is doing another arc on this, I actually don't know if I'm almost 100% sure I won't.
Oh wow.
Because I now have 10 issues of useless paper, and these are that's $40 of stuff I'll never ever look at again. And that sucks. That really sucks. So everyone that's here already knows how much I love Something's Killing the Children. It's probably my favorite comic of all time, and I like everything that's attached to it. I couldn't recommend you stay away from this one. Do not read issues 16 through 20 of House of Slaughter.
That's insane. All right, well, let's move on then.
So there's that. Zawa's really good. I feel about Zawa the way I feel about Marvel Unleashed or about Marvel Unleashed. It's really got that silly goose time. It's a lot of fun. There's not huge stakes here. I wouldn't go so far as to call this cozy, because it's not quite, it's still a little grim, and one of the main plot threats is that our character's dad is dead and they're trying to pick up the pieces. And so it's not just happy joy, but it's pretty soft. It's pretty easygoing. It also is weird that I know that in comics we don't really curse. We put our little symbols and stars, but there's a lot of implied cursing in this book, which is strange again for a book that's a children's imprint. But in this issue, we see the humanity of Zawa pop out a little bit more. She's, because of the way that she's kept in the tower, that she's starved and maintains this almost animalistic personality because she's always literally starving. And she has now awakened for her big eat, and the time when she just consumes a lot before she goes into essentially a hibernation. And this time she breaks out, and so that's obviously what happened in the first issue. Here we find her running across the brother and sister from the first issue. They greet her, they bake something for her, and she's like obsessed with these cookies. And it turns out these are the cookies that their dad used to get for her with work. And so she feels inclined, she feels safe with they even like get her a shower, and her hair like poofs out, and then her hair's like, we can't tell if it's sentient or if there's something living in it. That's not explained in this issue, but the stakes, I guess, is that the governor, who's this really tiny shriveled up man who has to be held in like a baby's little front thing on a big giant man.
Okay.
He's like the mean guy, like he's the bad guy of the story, but he's getting carried in a little baby carrier by this really weird massive baby dude.
Interesting. Massive baby dude. Didn't see I get that off my
dude.
bingo card.
But if you liked Wind, you'll love this. If you like low stakes, fun, and like top 10 art, then this is good. You can share it with the kids.
You're still waiting for Transformers 3, Joe?
Oh,
that's
no.
Is that the one that 3 was my pick of the week last week. That shit is brutal. It's so good. All right. The Enfield Gang Massacre.
Yeah. Also, Joe, I know what you mean. I didn't get either of my Mad Cave book. All right. Let me pull up my. Sorry, this book like kind of disappeared from my mind. This is why I've been doing the actual reviews. Okay. So this might be the best issue of the run.
Okay.
I almost didn't put it on the show because the last couple issues were just like bleh.
Bleh.
But this is back to a lot more of like what I liked about the first issue. It has that really classic Western mystery feel. What's going on? There are big twists that I was not expecting to see at all. We get to see some really interesting characters. I mean, so far, the depth of these characters has been an inch thick. I mean, there's no depth to any of these characters. And finally, here on the penultimate issue, we actually get some agency here, and we see what's going on. We find out the big twist is that, of course, Enfield and his gang were not responsible for the Grizzly murder at all. It was a guy hired by a rival gang to frame the Enfield gang so they would get massacred. So, and of course, we've got the sheriff of the town who never believed it was Enfield to begin with, who ran back to town and is now finding other people that are agreeing. So, as the Texas Ranger and the other people that were hunting him are coming back into town with Enfield in tow, being arrested and getting ready to give him a trial and hang him, they're coming back to the town of people saying, actually, we don't know if we. But at this point, oh, and by the way, Enfield's wife, who was supposed to be hiding, tried to come back and help him, and then got caught. So the only people that are left is Enfield and his girlfriend. And we do not know what their futures are going to be, because even though it seems like the voice of the town will be in their favor, it seems like the Texas Ranger is just not going to ask at all. We'll have to, and is going to take the matters into his own hands. I will say, with all of that praise, the art in this book really continues to be an enigma, because like at its core, it's fantastic, right? Like, it's really good. It's super gritty. It does every last thing that this book should do. It feels like a Western comic, almost written in Western times. Like the really gritty, like scratchy pulp paper is great. The way that the lines are just super thick and harsh, it's all really good. But there are like really basic fundamental flaws too. Like, I'm not an artist by any means, but like I understand storyboarding and flow structure and like this is the third time in 5 books that he's broken the 180 rule, where there's a 180 viewpoint and your characters are never supposed to cross that threshold, right? Because that's how you know who is who when you have characters that look alike. Well, this book is just a book of 15 characters that all look the same, because it's all a bunch of white men in the 1800s.
Right.
They all look the same. and he breaks that rule multiple times. And at one point, I got so confused that I thought the bad guy was Enfield. And when someone got shot, I was like, "Oh, Enfield just got shot. That's the whole purpose of this book. What happened?" And so it was the other guy.
Right.
So I don't know. I ended up giving this book a 4 out of 5 stars. So I guess I enjoyed it, but like I'm just frustrated. I'm just really frustrated by like what I feel are really simple mistakes. But at the end of the day, I just whatever. It was fun, and we'll talk about the last issue.
Alrighty. Well, that is it.
Hold on.
It's not it.
Like for 2 seconds, I did read this one, the version of Batman where he's just like, like going all stakes on the Bruce Wayne must die, and I'm just only Batman. I actually hate that now. This was terrible for that. The book was okay. The art was really cool. The story's meh, but the whole like Batman going off the deep and saying like I'm Batman and Bruce Wayne needs to die. It was like he's an asshole, but he's like an awkward asshole. He's like not very good at he's not doing a very good job. It was just kind of weird.
What did you think of the last issue of Batman from Chip?
Where
he's fighting off the multiversal Ebenezers in his brain. Where he makes a comment about the Michael Keaton version not being able to turn his head.
Okay, I didn't get that line, but I know what you're talking. What does that mean?
So that Batman suit that Michael Keaton wears.
Oh, because it's like and it's like this. And he can't.
Yeah, he can't move his neck. And then I really enjoyed the twist, which is all of the personalities are now inside failsafe.
Yeah, I felt a little weird about that.
I thought that's cool.
It makes no logical sense, and I know it's whatever, but it doesn't even follow a trail of like magic or anything. It's like these aren't real. What are they called? The Inraz or whatever. Those aren't real. They're just things in his head, but they're not tangible, and so they can't tangibly go into a robot. It's a bad plot. It doesn't make sense. That's like me saying all of a sudden now toenails are currency, so we just deal with it. It's like what? That doesn't even make sense. Like I guess you could do that if you wanted, but why? And so it's the same thing. It's like
I think we're gonna get, but I think we're gonna
total non sequitur. Like it just comes out of nowhere.
I think we're gonna get the why though. I don't think Chip's just gonna be like, "Oh, comics." I think he's gonna figure it out.
See, and I'm not explaining it well because what I'm saying is it's already happened. There can't be an explanation. There can't be because you put the way a brain perceives reality. That's not a tangible thing. That's the way neurons.
Nate,
you can't pull that out and put it into something. It doesn't make sense.
What do you mean? It's comics.
But
Beast World right now, everyone's turning into fucking animals.
But you can understand that. You can go, oh, the DNA of Bert or whatever the hell his name went into their DNA.
Well, then how do you explain the whole multiverse of DC? Like that's the whole concept of these other brain.
That's why I'm not explaining it right because what I
thought it was cool. I was like, oh, cool. We have another purpose for failsafe, which I think is fucking awesome.
I think that's cool. I like it when writers continue to use the stuff they've created and not just leave it back shed to rot. But I'm not interested in it right this second. I'll obviously read and see what Chip does with it. The most interesting thing that I thought was all of the homages to the different Batmans.
Yeah, I really like the
Dark
Michael
Knight Rises
Keaton
version. I was like, holy shit, did they get like what's his name to literally come back and do this? Like it was really spot on capturing his style.
For sure. Let's see. Action Comics, who cares? Yeah, I didn't read it. Were we supposed to read it?
Oh yeah, we were supposed to. It's the second to last issue of
I know, but didn't we read somewhere like it was like there's a little bit of the Blue Earther thing in there, but then there's like all this other stuff that they're just trying to cram in there. Like it had the whole like
no, that was your assumption of the book.
it had this whole like
nope.
Here are a bunch of other stories we want you to read, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. Just give me
true.
Philip Kennedy Johnson.
Absolutely none of this is true. It's just Philip Kennedy.
It's all true.
It's also not a very strong issue, I would actually say. It's okay, it's good, but the writing was a little strange, and the art was like I think there's 7 different artists at one point. I was like,
God, oh, that's exhausting.
This is weird. This is And Constantine, I thought he wrote Constantine really well. But there was this point where like I wonder if it'll get explained because Superman's totally out of personality. He like is like panicked and like making rash decisions and not thinking about things at all. Oh, why is Superman like me? That's fucking weird. Like I don't like that. Like it felt off, and I'm sure it'll get explained. And of course, this Philip Kennedy Johnson doesn't get to finish his entire his own plot line in his own book. It's got to go to the annual. So because 1061 won't even be the last issue of his run. They got to shove him into an annual that won't be part of anyone's regular pull. So they'll miss the end if they're not paying attention. You'll never know what the end of this run is. Ask me if I'm mad about it.
It's so stupid. Like I just don't understand it. I don't get it.
John, my shop didn't get it either. Yeah, my shop didn't get it either.
All right,
also,
guys.
someone said something about this. This was actually the best issue of the run, even though it was still shitty. Gamora and Mantis go on like a little side quest, and they fight the dude that has the Soul Stone right now to try to get back Drax's soul. All of it was very cool, very like Jim Starlin 70s and stuff. But the way that they wrote Mantis at some point was like really infuriating. The way that she refers to her son, Koi, who starts the whole Empire War and stuff, she says, and then my son, well, it turns out he turns out to suck. And then he turned out to suck. Huh? That's it. And then he turned out to suck. Nope. That's not how Mantis would talk about her son in the slightest bit. That was awkward. That was weird. Basically, the reason why she has different personalities is because she now has access to every multiversal version of herself. And because she never got to know who she was, she's going to just pick them at random and keep being them until she finds the one she likes. It was good. And it was fun. But it also was written.
Right.
So, all right, I'll stop talking now.
Marvel Zombies, didn't check that out, but I've heard good things about Marvel Zombies for sure. So,
zombies.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for issue 156 of Two Fat Guys Pull List. Thank you to everyone that watched this live or as a past episode. It was most appreciated. If you're not already, make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and ring that bell so we can hit 1,000 subscribers. We are on the way. We will catch you guys this Tuesday for another new Comic Book Day video, for which I think is kind of itty bitty. I think December is, in general, is just kind of small. But then again, I haven't looked at Nate's poll, so he might have like 1,500 books. So we'll have.
Yeah, I think you have like 2 next week. I don't know. No, I think we have the same.
I don't have 2. I think I have like 4.
Yeah, the only books that you don't have are literally the best books next week. So, like, he's still not picking up Rare Flavors. How is he even?
Watch.
How am I letting him host this
our
show
new
anymore?
Comic Book Day video to find out which books I'm apparently missing. We'll catch you guys on Tuesday at 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, and then live again this Sunday. Are we? That's Christmas Eve.
Oh shit, is it?
Yeah.
Should we maybe do a Saturday version?
Or Friday?
Or Friday, dude?
Kind of wrap new Comic Book Day, or wrap comic book review pulls in best of 2023, like just in a whole live bang show.
Maybe we should do that. Yeah.
All right, we'll talk about it. We'll let you know. By new Comic Book Day what we're doing, if it's either going to be Friday or Saturday, because obviously Sunday is Christmas Eve, and we want everybody to hang out with their fam because we don't know what y'all are doing. Jim needs to buy Ed Brubaker where the body was. The body was?
Yeah, it's sitting in my pool right now, so I'll have it next week.
What is that, a horror?
No. It's like I believe it's a murder mystery.
Oh wait.
We talked about this.
I think I did pull that.
No, it's not a single issue, it's a graphic novel.
I didn't pull that. Anyway, guys, we'll see you guys on Tuesday and then potentially either Friday or Saturday, so everybody can have a lovely Christmas and Christmas Eve. So, catch you guys later. Bye. I'm gonna end it. I'm totally off. As always, fam, be kind to one another and read more comics. We'll catch you guys on Tuesday. Later. Hell yeah, it. Sounds like me trying to say blue black splash to a customer. Blue black splash, splat, blue black splash. Blah, 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 blah.
It kind of sounds like a sex position.
It does. It really does.
Yo, I got her the blue black splash.
Shut up. All right, bye guys.